I'd like to ask you to consider how you personally will feel at a win by Donald J. Trump. Because your vote, and depending upon how you do and do not yield it, impacts the outcome. I know that there are people that wanted Bernie Sanders to be president. I know that there are amazing and challenging things that need to be fixed in our political process. I know that there are people that have a great deal of contempt for both candidates, and they feel like they're somehow honoring themselves if they do not cast a vote for a candidate with whom they might have deep distrust or resentment. That could be said about both candidates, and that could be said about many people who are considering whether or not to vote and who to vote for. With that said, one of these two people will be the President of the United States of America. And even though it might be painful for some of you to vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton, I want you to consider how you would feel if you decided, for example, to vote for a Green Party member. I'd like to ask you to consider how you personally will feel at a win by Donald J. Trump. Because your vote, and depending upon how you do and do not yield it, impacts the outcome. So you can have contempt for both candidates. I personally love Hillary. I'm completely partisan here. But you could have contempt for both candidates. And your presence and casting of a vote, or your absence and withholding of a vote, they impact the outcome. This reminds me actually of how I personally related in the 80s to the phrase silence equals death, which was a major battle cry of ACT UP. And the flip side of that is action equals life. So remind yourself that someone's going to win this election, and that person is going to be in a position to do a great deal of good or a great deal of damage. And you might decide to withhold your vote for your own conscience and your own moral and emotional and spiritual well-being. But I want to ask you, do you recognize that when you're withholding that vote, you're impacting the outcome? And do you recognize how damaging and destroying it could be to the entire world and millions of people if someone like Donald Trump became president because of your individual moral outrage about some of the things Hillary Clinton has done? So this is what is before us. So one of the things that I actually shared, and I need to apologize. So one of the things I personally shared on Facebook recently was discovering that someone you love is voting for Donald Trump is like learning that they're dipping kittens in boiling water. Now, that really does not accurately characterize people that I love that are voting for Donald Trump on many levels, and that's why I'm going to apologize. The level of shock and surprise and oh my God, that is what I was trying to convey when I made that remark. But I've decided that dipping a kitten in boiling water is not a good analogy, because someone that would dip a kitten in boiling water is doing so knowingly. They are fully aware that they have a living and breathing and helpless little being in their hand, and they're dipping it in boiling water. So I've decided that if people I know and love are voting for Donald Trump, and I know that they're not the kind of person that would dip a kitten in boiling water, what I need to remind them of is that I'm, Donald Trump it wants to take away my health care. Donald Trump wants to remove a woman's right to choose. Donald Trump and his party don't want transgender individuals to be able to use the bathroom of their choice. Donald Trump and his party have demonstrated time and time again complete disrespect for women and for minorities.
Built upon decades of multimedia entertainment activism, this is PromoHomo.tv, connecting the circuitry of humanity. This program is distributed in association with Pink Banana Media. I'm your host, Nicholas Snow, openly gay in the media since the mid-1980s. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at PromoHomoTV. And on Facebook.com/Nicholas.Snow. For their generous support of this episode, I would like to thank Desert Regional Medical Center, Desert AIDS Project, Lulu California Bistro, and 849 Restaurant and Lounge. PromoHomo.tv is proud to spotlight many important organizations and causes, including Palm Springs Pride and the LGBT Community Center of the Desert. You may also find me in the pages of GED Magazine, GayDesertGuide.com, The Huffington Post, and other media outlets. For this and so much more, visit PromoHomo.tv.